Hello, and welcome back to Taking the Motley Cross, Episode 13, The Kingdom of Heaven is Like. Today, we're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 13, a chapter largely made up of parables, little stories that Jesus tells to illustrate what the Kingdom of Heaven is like. In fact, many of them start that way. So, without further ado, here is Matthew chapter 13 from the New Jerusalem Bible. That same day, Jesus left the house and sat by the lakeside. But such crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat there. The people all stood on the beach, and he told them many things in parables. He said, "Imagine a sower going out to sow. As he sowed, some seeds fell on the edge of the path, and the birds came and ate them up. Others fell on patches of rock, where they found little soil and sprang up straight away, because there was no depth of earth. But as soon as the sun came up, they were scorched, and not having any roots, they withered away. Others fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Others fell on rich soil and produced their crop, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. Listen, anyone who has ears to hear." Then the disciples went up to him and asked, "Why do you talk to them in parables?" "Because," he replied, "the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven are revealed to you, but they are not revealed to them. For anyone who has will be given more, and he will have more than enough, but from anyone who has not, even what he has will be taken away. The reason I talk to them in parables is that they look without seeing and listen without hearing or understanding. In their case, this prophecy of Isaiah is being fulfilled. You will listen and listen again, but not understand. You will see and see again, but not perceive. For the heart of this nation has grown coarse. Their ears are dull. They have shut their eyes for fear that they should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and be converted and healed by me. But happy are your eyes because they see, your ears because they hear. I tell you solemnly, many prophets and holy men longed to see what you see and never saw it, to hear what you hear and never heard it. You, therefore, are to hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom without understanding, the evil one comes and carries off what was sown in his heart. This is the man who received the seed on the edge of the path. The one who received it on patches of rock is the man who hears the word and welcomes it at once with joy, but he has no root in him. He does not last. Let some trial come or some persecution on account of the word, and he falls away at once. The one who received the seed in thorns is the one who hears the word, but the worries of this world and the lure of riches choke the word, so he produces nothing. The one who received the seed in rich soil is the one who hears the word and understands it. This one is the one who yields a harvest and produces now 100-fold, now 60, now 30. He put another parable to them. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in a field. While everybody was asleep, his enemy came and sowed darnel among the wheat and made off. When the new wheat sprouted and ripened, the darnel appeared as well. The owner's servants went to him and said, "Sir, was it not good seed that you sowed in your field? If so, where does this darnel come from?" "Some enemy has done this," he answered. And the servant said, "Do you want us to go and weed it out?" He said, "No, because when you weed out the darnel, you might pull up the wheat with it. Let them both grow till the harvest, and at harvest time I will say to the reapers, first go, collect the darnel, tie it in bundles to be burned, and then gather the wheat into my barn." He put another parable before them. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it is the biggest shrub of all and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air can come and shelter in its branches. He told them another one. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast a woman took and mixed in with 3 measures of flour, till it was leavened all through. In all this, Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables. Indeed, he would never speak to them except in parables. This was to fulfill a prophecy. "I will speak to you in parables and expound things hidden since the foundation of the world." Then, leaving the crowds, he went to the house, and his disciples came to him and said, "Explain the parable about the darnel in the field to us." He said in reply, "The sower of the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed is the subjects of the kingdom, the darnel, the subjects of the evil one, the enemy who sowed them, the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, the reapers are the angels. Well then, Just as the darnel is gathered up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of time. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all the things that provoke offenses, and all who do evil, and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Then the virtuous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Listen, anyone who has ears. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which someone has found. He hides it again, goes off happy, sells everything he owns, and buys the field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls, and when he finds one of great value, he goes and sells everything he owns and buys it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet cast into the sea that brings in a haul of all kinds of fish. When it is full, the fishermen pull it ashore, then, sitting down, they collect the good ones in a basket and throw away those that are of no use. This is how it will be at the end of time. The angels will appear and separate the wicked from the just to throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Have you understood all this? They said, yes. He said to them, well then, every scribe who becomes a disciple of the kingdom is like a householder who brings out from his storeroom things both new and old. When Jesus had finished these parables, he left the district, and coming to his hometown, he taught the people in the synagogue in such a way that they were astonished and said, where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? This is the carpenter's son, surely. Is not his mother the woman called Mary, and his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Jude? His sisters too, are they not all here with us? So where did the man get it all? And they would not accept him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is only despised in his own country and in his own house. And he did not work many miracles there because of their lack of faith. The word of the Lord. These parables are not the quaint little pastoral stories we were taught growing up. You see, the kingdom of heaven is not quaint, neither is it little. These stories are shocking and scandalous. Imagine, if you will, that you are a subsistence farmer, living from day to day on what you can scratch out of marginal land. How hard did you work to have enough to feed your family and put aside enough to have seed for next year? How many nights did you go hungry? How many nights did you send your children to bed hungry just to have that seed? Now look again at the parable of the sower. Look again at the sower walking out along the path, taking that same seed you sweated and starved to save, and callously flinging it here and there, spilling some along the path. He hasn't even prepared the soil. It's full of rocks and weeds. Each grain is worth more than a king's ransom to you. This is the stuff of life on which your life, the lives of your family, your children, all whom you hold dear, depend. This stuff is being wasted by this foolish sower. It's criminal. Imagine now you're a gardener. You've carefully prepared the ground and carefully planted your seeds. You've watered and fertilized. You've done everything you know to do to ensure that your garden is successful. But you're not done, though. Your final act is to take and plant a weed. A seed so tiny and insignificant you don't give it any thought, yet before long it's outgrown everything else in your garden and has put the entire plot in shade. And if that was not enough, it keeps growing and becomes a tree so large that the birds of the air have a place in its branches. They can rest in its shade between sessions, munching on the rest of your garden. One little seed, and the whole thing is ruined. What moron would do such a thing? And it doesn't stop there. The kingdom of heaven is a treasure you stumble over in a field, and that treasure is worth everything you own to possess. It's a merchant searching for fine pearls, and when he finds one of great value, He sells his entire stock, everything he owns, not just his pearls, but everything, so he can buy just one pearl. It's a little bit of yeast, which somebody foolishly mixes in an entire batch of dough, which, if you're Hebrew, unleavened bread is important, and it's ruined. It comes, therefore, as little doubt that Jesus gets no respect among his own people. He's talking crazy. He's telling stupid little stories that at their best show no understanding of their subject, and at their worst are intentionally infuriating. And yet, it's at this moment that the kingdom of heaven is true. It's in these moments of scandal, these moments of shock, these moments of, well, no one in their right mind would do that, that teach us the most about the kingdom of heaven. You see, the kingdom of heaven is a sower going out and taking the very stuff of life, the very words of life, the very stuff on which we live and breathe and depend, and just slinging it out. Because God is that generous. And you never know where the good soil is going to be. And so, yeah, if you drop some along the path, well, there may be good soil there. And sure, there's weeds and rocks over there, but there's good soil there too. And you never really know. And so you've got to just send it everywhere. And that's what God does. Sends the word everywhere. The kingdom of heaven is a man who sowed good seed in a field. But his enemy came and sowed some weeds. And instead of getting rid of the weeds right away, like we might want to do, get rid of all the wicked, evil people, he says, wait. Trust me, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and everything's going to be okay. The kingdom of heaven is a weed planted in a field that ruins everything forever. This carefully crafted world that the powers and principalities, those very forces of the evil one, remember the guy sowing bad seed? The very world he has created, that he's carefully worked for, the kingdom of heaven breaks into that and ruins it completely. And it's like yeast, a little bit of which goes a long way. A little bit of the kingdom will go an awful long way to turning the world upside down, turning us upside down. The kingdom of heaven is a treasure hidden in a field that is worth everything we own to possess. And the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant searching for fine pearls. And when he finds one, when he finds you, when the kingdom finds me, we are worth everything to obtain. The kingdom of heaven is this net that catches us all, good, bad, indifferent, catches all of us. And at the end of time, when we're drug out, we're judged. But not by our fellow fish. We're judged by God and God's agents. We're judged not according to our standards, our little fishy standards. We're judged according to God's standards. God, a God of love. God, remember the sower who's generously, lavishly scattering the stuff of life? That guy. That's whose standards we're going to be held accountable to, not each other's. My hope this week is that we'll have ears to hear. That the kingdom breaks through in our lives in ways we don't expect. In ways that look like weeds and yeast and seeds sown in unprepared soil. this week. Let us hear again the word of the Lord. And let us be good soil. Let's be good seeds, producing good fruit. And if you need an example of what good fruit looks like, go take a look at chapters 5, 6, and 7. I think that's where it begins. That's good fruit. That's good soil. That's a good seed. And that kind of life from the Sermon on the Mount is the kind of life that will turn this world upside down. Ruin forever the powers and principalities that would hold us in slavery, and ruin forever the carefully crafted slavery they would keep us in. Friends, we weren't meant to be slaves. We were meant to shine with a radiance in the kingdom of our Father. Thanks for watching.